Hey everyone, Kelly here, and I want to talk about some more goals I have for 2026. I recently posted a 26 books to read in 2026, and that video was focused on just books that I had bought in 2025 that I want to read, so I'm actually reading the books that I buy. And this one, my next goal is to focus on series. So last year I did this where I only had two goals. I had like a 25 books to read in 2025, and then I had like 12 big books to read. I failed by big books one. I read 6 of 12, so 50%. But I just found myself not gravitating towards those books, but I was finding myself wanting to like read series again. For a while, I was like having a hard time like really finishing series and reading through series, and I was doing more standalones. But this last year, I was getting more into like, following characters throughout, several books. And so I want to encourage that this year, and hopefully then this would be a more manageable goal. And so I actually picked 18 books, and they're separated out in 3 categories. So we have new series I want to start, and those are ones that I bought this last year. So it's still like reading the books that I buy. And just because I want to finish series doesn't mean I don't want to like also give myself permission to start new series, because if I only finish series or work on like ones like keep going, and then I just keep these books I bought and were interested in on my shelf, and then I might lose interest. So I still want to be able to start some series. Then the next category are series I am continuing that I bought the like next book that I needed to read last year. So continuing that theme of like reading the books that I buy. And then the third category is ones that have been languishing on my shelves for a while that I just need to finish. So it's like 6 books that there's 1 book left in the series and I just need to read it, but it's been like a couple years or more. Like some of these, I've been like sitting on these series for many years and just need to like finish them off and, decide if I like the whole series and want to keep them on my shelves or get rid of them, but just need to finally finish the series. So let's start off with the books that are new series to start. And, this whole thing is going to be pretty fantasy heavy, but I do have 2 other genres right at the beginning here. So I have Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murders by Jesse Q. Sutanto, and this is a mystery series, kind of cozy mystery, I think. And I know there's 2 books out in this. I don't know if there'll be a 3rd one this year. I don't know if I will end up continuing this series or if I'm just going to end up reading this one. Cozy kind of mystery series, I often don't continue. I might just, if I like it, I like the first one, but then it starts to go down as I go or whatever. So I'll make a decision whether this is actually a series or whether I just read the one. But I am interested in at least starting it. And then I have a romance series, The Duke Who Didn't by Courtney Milan. And I've read one of her historical romance series and really liked it. And this is another one that I think it's just a trilogy. And it is historical romance again. And I don't really necessarily know if there's any other themes to this series or whatever. Like the other one had a cast of characters that were related and knew each other. I don't know what this one, if there is a special topic or anything, but I like Courtney Milan as a historical romance author. So that's my kind of romance series I want to start. So I had a couple of romantic-y things that I had picked up this year that I wanted to try. I'm kind of particular about what kind of romantic I'm interested in. This one, The Bridge Kingdom by Danielle L. Jensen, seemed kind of, I don't want to say old school, but kind of reminiscent of some of earlier series, fantasy series, and not necessarily the same thing that they're just publishing over and over again now, I feel like. So I'm hoping that I'll end up liking this one. This is very shiny, sorry. So this one, what I heard for the series is there's several books in it, but they kind of go in pairs. So if I end up only wanting to read the first 2, that would be a good stopping point, it sounds like. Or I can keep going. Maybe there's 6 total, 3 pairs of 2. I'm not for sure on that. And the other one is just a duology, which, hey, the more duologies I can pick up, that feels like I could finish them. And this is One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig, and this is kind of gothic romantasy. And I've heard good things from people that I have similar reading taste in, so hopefully I'll like that. And since it's just a duology, maybe I can finish the whole thing. And another one that is not romantasy, but at this point it's just a duology. There might be a trilogy coming, but the second book is coming out, I think this month or next month. And it's To Shape a Dragon's Breath by Monoquill Blackgoose. Sorry, I never said the author's name before. And this one is fantasy with dragons, and I've heard good things about it. And like I said, right now it is 2 books. There could be more coming. But while I know the second one is coming out now, I would be able to at least read like both books this year, hopefully. So that is when I want to start. And then a kind of cozy romance fantasy is The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. And I do have the second book in this already. And I think the third one is coming out this year. So this would get, if I ended up reading and continuing the series, that would get 2 books off of my TBR. And then I could like read the third one if I wanted. And this one just seems so cute. I mean, there's like little flying cats and stuff. So I'm not always into cozy fantasy, but I think that this might be an author I might enjoy. So I'll give it a try and hope I ended up liking it since I own the first 2. I usually don't buy like 2 books in a series, but my mom had bought me the second one. So I didn't actually like go out and buy the second one before reading the first one. She just like saw it and she's like, this looks cute. And I was like, oh, actually I have the first one on my shelf. So yeah, sure, go ahead and bring it. All right, so those were the ones I want to start. These next ones are ones I want to continue that I'm just checking that I'm right, but I think all of these I started, no, there's one not, but most of these I started the series in 2025, so now I want to continue. The only one that I started before that is the Earthsea series by Ursula K. Le Guin. This is the 4th book, so I have been reading this series for like maybe 4 years, and want to continue, but I did just buy this in 2025 because I've been just buying them as I go instead of buying the whole series, and I'm enjoying those. Are kind of like feels like classic fantasy, and it has a character in it that was in a previous book, so I'm excited about that. But the rest of these are all ones that I started the series last year and want to continue. I have Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands by Heather Fawcett, and I really enjoyed the first book. I like that this one was kind of cozy fantasy, but it had some like creepy, more stakes elements to it, some more stakes, and so I am interested to continue that and have that kind of vibe where both cozy and some romance and some unexpected things happening. And then one that I actually have already started is Paladin's Hope by T. Kingfisher, which is the 3rd book in the Saints of Steel. I read the first 2 last year and just continuing, and I'm actually really enjoying this one. So excited to continue this series and hopefully finish it because there's only one more after that. And then I have The Hawthorne Legacy by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is another one that's not fantasy, one of my only non-fantasy. This is like a mystery kind of suspense drama series, and I had started it last year and went ahead and bought the 2nd and 3rd book, and so I would like to continue this. It's about like a girl who ends up inheriting all this money from a millionaire or billionaire or whatever, and doesn't know the man, so doesn't know why she's inheriting it all. And he has 4, I believe, grandsons. I think that's what it is, 4 grandsons that are like, why are you inheriting the money instead of us? So a lot of drama and stuff, so I want to continue that. And then back to fantasy, I have Painted Devils by Margaret Owen, and this is the 2nd in a trilogy, and the first one was a Goose Girl retelling. I don't know where the plot's going to go from here, since that one kind of felt like the full Goose Girl story, and then we're gonna keep going with the characters. So what is this character gonna get up to next? What is Vanya gonna do? I'm interested to see because I really love these characters. These are big ones, which is why I didn't pick it up right away before, but from what I remember, the first one, even though it was big, it flew by pretty quickly because I just was invested in the characters. And the last one in this category is Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. This would, of course, end another series, so that's great. The more like things I can finish, the better. I read Six Crows for the first time last year, which is kind of wild because, you know, it's been around for a long time, very popular series, and I just never read it. And then the fact that I actually really enjoyed it and picked up the second book right away, I just didn't get to like actually finish it that year. So this is the year to finish that. And the last category, like I said, are ones that have just been languishing on my TBR, on my shelves for multiple years, and I just need to finish these series because there are only like one more. Like all of these, this is like the last one, and then I would be done. The one that is not fantasy, I have The War I Finally Won by Kimberly Brubaker Bradley, and this is a World War II historical fiction middle grade series, just a duology, so this would finish it. And I really loved the first book, but sometimes the problem is when a book feels like a complete story, I don't necessarily feel like I need to keep going, but I had already bought the second book when I read the first one. And so I'm like, well, I'll give it a try. I mean, I really liked it. Maybe I'll really love this one too, but I just don't feel like I need to keep going because it didn't really need to be a series. But I'm sure she has something else to say in this one, so I should at least give it a try. And then I have one that's kind of finishing a series, but then she continued it years later. I have Bitter Blue by Kristin Cashore, and this was originally a trilogy, and so this would be ending the trilogy. But then she just in the last few years continued the series. So I feel like there was like 10 years in between. Like, when did this one come out? This one came out in 2012, and those the next two came out like probably more like 2022. So yeah, like 10 years later. And so if I finish this one, I still feel like I finished the trilogy, and then it got extended later. And the part of these is that I really love the characters in these, and I like the messages that Kristin Cashore is doing, but the pacing is always off with me, for me, with these books. And so they're big, and it takes me a long time to read them because I will like read a section and like put it down and then read. And that's how it's been for the first two books. And so maybe I can avoid that with this one, but that's literally what happened both times when I read Graceling and when I read Fire. Is they were like year-long reading thing where I would just keep putting it down and reading it chunks at a time. So let's hope that curse has changed with this one. And then one that is kind of embarrassing, because this is like, I love Tamora Pierce, and I have not finished this Immortals Quartet, and I've been reading this for years. And I even reread some of the earlier ones, but I just need to finish it off. This is the last in the quartet. And this is like kind of classic fantasy. And I did really love Wild Magic, which is the first one in this series. And then I didn't love book 2 at all. Like, I didn't really like book 2, but I did like book 3. So you think I should just pick it up and finish it. And it would go fast, because these are like, the font in these is huge. So this should go quickly. And then a duology that this was actually on my 25 books to read in 2025, and it's one of the 5 I didn't read. So yes, I need to read it this year. This is Hearts That Cut by Kika Hatzopoulou, and this is the end of a duology that's like a Greek fantasy retelling about the the fates, I believe. Is that who they are? The ones that have like the threads of life that they cut and all that. So I really enjoyed the first book, and then didn't read it for like the second book within a year. I let it hasn't languished as long. This is more recent. Like, this one was only like a year and a half ago that I read the other one, where some of these other ones have been like 5 years, but still, this is one that's been a while. So I have The Beauty of Darkness by Mary E. Pearson. This is the last one in the Remnant Chronicles, and I read the first 2 books. I feel like it was during the pandemic. Like, it's been a while since I've read those, like during the beginnings of the pandemic. So like almost 4 years now. But I feel like I remember the characters enough that I don't have to reread, because I just don't want to reread the second book, because I remember not loving the second book as much as the first. So I think that if I just get myself to pick it up, that I can finish it without going back and rereading. Like, all these ones that have been sitting for a while, I picked ones that I don't feel like I have to reread. I have other books on my shelves that I'm like, this would finish an older series, but I felt like I would have to reread an earlier book. And so I didn't want to commit myself to like a precursor, like reading something else before I can read it. So all of these are ones that, like, yes, they've been sitting there for a while, but I feel confident that I can pick them up and go without rereading, even if I just like looked up a summary of the book before. And the last one is A Vow So Bold and Deadly by Bridget Kimmerer. This is the one that's like starts with Curse So Dark and Lonely. That's a Beauty and the Beast retelling. And yeah, this has also been like this has actually been longer than 5 years. I think that I read A Curse So Dark and Lonely back in like 2018, maybe, something like that. And took a long time to read the second book. I think I just read the second book 2 years ago. and then just need to get around to finishing this off and be done, because I did really enjoy both the first two books. They're kind of just fun, fast, easy fantasy, and so I don't know why I'm not picking it up. So yeah, those are the ones that have been languishing and just need to be done. So that's 18 books and series that I want to read, which might, the thing with the series books is that it might end up adding more, because unless they're the ones I'm finishing a series, you know, if I read the next one in Paladins series that I'm reading now, Saints of Seal by T. Kingfisher, I'm going to want to finish the last one. If I do this Emily Wilde one, am I going to like want to finish the last one that's out in Emily Wilde? So sometimes this becomes more, which is why I kept it to 18 instead of doing like 26 series books I want to read in 2026, because this 18 implies that I might end up reading more after that. But this would like help me. Part of what I'm focusing this year is I don't want to buy as many books. I really want to like lower my TBR this year, because there are books on there that I'm still really interested in. It's just there's only so much time in the day and in the year. But then I also end up going to the library, going to the bookstore and getting more books. So if I can like focus on maybe using the library in person less, and just like maybe if I want like an audiobook version of this, I can still support the library and still use the library, but use it to read the books that are already on my shelves, and then kind of lower the amount of books I'm buying this year to just like continuing series or book of the month, you know, those kind of things, and not just buy random, so that I can lower the amount of unread books on my shelves. And not that I feel like I need to be at a 0 TBR, like that I need to have read everything on my shelves, but I would love it if I could get to a place where I've read like 60% of the things that are sitting on my shelf, or 70%, so that there's still like options to read, but I'm not feeling so much like, wow, I have hardly anything on my shelves that are books that I've read, because I only keep the books that I really love. Sorry, I'm babbling now, but like I only keep books if I really love them. So I'm not keeping every book I've read and owned. I get rid of the things that I'm not like tied to. So that means that the books I've read on my shelves are just the things I really loved. And then a lot of new things that I've bought. So like, yeah, if I could get more towards like the 60% of the books on my shelves are things that I have loved, that would feel good. So hopefully by reading these 26 books to read in 2026 list and this series list, I might be more close to approaching that 50 to 60% point. We'll see at the end of the year. I'd be curious to see what the percentage is by the end of the year. And maybe I'll look up now what percentage of books I have and put that here so we can compare it at the end of the year if that percentage has gone up of my read to unread books on my shelf. All right, that's it for me. Sorry, this got long-winded at the end. Just thinking through my thought process and goals in my reading. And what are your goals for this year? Do you have very specific books you want to read, or do you have just kind of like nebulous goals of like, I want to read so many books from my TBR, but I'm not going to specify what they are? Like, what are you using as your goals? Or do you just kind of, whatever, I'm going to read whatever I want in 2026, and that's it? And that's all for me today. I will see you next time. Bye.